Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday. We're back in the office for On the Radar. Live market updates. Market just closed. Today was a little bit of a bloody day, depending on which index you were following. This, of course, is Dennis Wilborn, the active trend trader. And so what are you doing? What are you trading? Right now, it looks like it's a time to be, I'll have to say, more cautious than adventurous as you're looking to get into the market. And hey, there's that handsome guy. How's that? So what we'll be taking a look at today is taking a look at the indexes, taking a look at a couple of stocks, see how they're doing, see how some stocks like Tesla's doing, Netflix, and that type of thing. And then we'll bounce over and take a look at a couple of the power, stocks that we've been watching, like Etsy. See how they held up today with the timeout. A couple of things I want to share with you today is, one, does your trading plan take into account what I call accelerated compounding? What does that mean? Normally, when they used to do compounding, you look at compounding over a quarter, over a year, and that's how you would grow your account. I still remember my mom and dad, they would get like 6% at the local savings and loan, and they would basically just invest $1,000 and then, make their 6% on it for the year, then roll it over and do it again and again and again and again. Worked very well for them. 6% is just a little bit shy of what the historical 8% that they usually tag on to the S&P. But learning how to trade and learning how to successfully choose particular stocks is a really excellent way to accelerate your compounding. And so what do I mean by that? Is that rather than looking at maybe making 10% per year, does your plan take into account, say, making 5% per month? And the way you have to do to compound that, of course, is to make sure that you're investing enough. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about accelerated compounding, you need to join us at Active Trend Trading. We work on that with our premium members on how to grow an account. That's what we're aimed at doing, so that basically trade so you can generate and build wealth. That's the end of the story. Anyway, let's take a look over here at the S&P. What the heck did the S&P do today? The S&P continued to fall. It's just the basic bottom line. Now, what is interesting is that TSI rolled over, and we've had one of these moves where we moved down. Let me get a color in here. Sometimes my marker has a mind of its own. So we moved down, stopped at the 34, moved back up to the breakout area, stopped there, and now we are reversing to the downside. Now, what do we have? What does this, how do we want to interpret this? Well, one of the things that we do have is we have a lower high. If we take out this low here, we will then have a lower low in place, and thus the prerequisites for being in a downtrend. Will that happen? Well, we don't know. We don't know until it takes out that low there, which is at, what is the low there? The low there is, take a real quick peek. Oh, 187.15, 187.15. So we blow through that level, then we'll look at it continuing to potentially fall down to where? Next stop on the train to the downside, the 50-day moving average. Next stop after that, of course, is down at these lower levels here. One of the things that we can do and get a projection, where might it go? And this is something I really like to do, is I just like to lay on a Fibonacci extension on there. I got that correctly. And so now this is not a Fibonacci retracement. This is for basically figuring out If we get a symmetric move, that's based on that, from that symmetric with that first move down, that gives us a target down here at about 383 to 380, somewhere in that little box between the 786 and the 1272. And that's where we may get a rebound. But right now, index is looking like it is basically doing a traditional rally, failed rally, fall back down. Excuse me. One of the things you want to look at if you're looking at potentially trading this, where do we want to pay particular attention? Well, you want to pay particular attention about halfway back up today's candlestick, about the 390, 391 level. You can actually put in a level of alert right there. So the prices gets up to that level. I want to shift over to a shorter time frame chart, which in this case would be what? The hour, the 30-minute, the 15-minute chart, something like that. And what I'll also do is I can also throw in just about the midsection of today's candle. Let's throw in get up there. Get it to posture right in the middle. There we go. That was about the middle. There we go. And what I can do is I can bounce this over and take a look. Okay, where does that turn out on the intraday chart? Well, as you can see on the intraday, just the 30-minute chart, the TSI has gotten way down to the bottom where we would anticipate some kind of bounce. What's interesting is that we are not quite down at the low we were talked about earlier. And so therefore, we could get a bounce either up to the midsection of the candlestick, which is right there. That transposed over from my drawing off of the daily chart. So that's where I'd anticipate it to go. It may also get all the way back up into the 391 to 392 level, which are the lower levels where it broke down from. So again, great place to put in an alert. And then once it's there, I want to switch and I get my alert signal, switch over to the intraday chart to see if I'm getting a reversal signal, to be able to jump on a trade to the downside. Oftentimes, if we are going into a significant decline, a deeper correction, what will happen is after hours you will get a pickup in prices. As after hours it kind of moves back up, and then first thing in the morning, it has a nice little gap up, and then you get slammed to the downside as the market regains its momentum, heading where? As we see with our momentum right here, heading down. Since it is Tuesday, let's take a real quick look at the nothing to report on the weekly charts, because what's going on? Yeah, the momentum had already turned down. It's kind of just gradually grinding its way lower as price actions hold up fairly well. And so on the weekly chart, we have not, while today's signal, candlestick is a nice rip to the downside, does not reflect that badly on the weekly chart. What about the Qs? The Qs had been the lagger so far this year, after it dropped down here to about the $300 level, $299 level, and we've come back up, tested the downtrend line today, and then reversed lower. Is this another one of those where if we take out today's low, we will have another lower high in place? Take out that low there, will that give us a lower low? A new downtrend on the Qs could be in the making. Do I want to try to trade? It's kind of mixed signals here, because what I see on the price action and the TSI is that we may be bouncing to the upside here. That looks like it wants to break, cross back up to the upside. The volume was not noticeably, even though was not noticeably higher today, and most of the day it's spent selling off. So but it does. We did make a higher high in 3 days. This is a higher high on the daily basis. Hey, I'm going to switch over here and just double check and see who may have joined us on. Who may have joined us on the Instagram. There we go. And so, hey, there we go. Just want to say aloha. If you do have a stock you would like us to take a look at, just drop it in the, hey, Natalie, how you doing? And Elsie, I think that's you. If you have a stock you want to take a look at, just drop a note in the comments section, and I'll be glad to take a look at a stock you're looking at. The index that got whacked the hardest had been the one that had been leading the charge, which was the Russell, the IWM representing the Russell. Okay, if you recall correctly, we jumped in on a trade for the premium active trend trading members. We did what's called a bear call spread, or a call credit spread, and we did it last Friday, right there as it went up and touched off of the 8-day moving average and reversed. And what we did is we sold a spread type position, and what that means is we sold it with the anticipation we're going to buy it back when it was in the money. Well, that particular trade was up, over 300%. Now that sounds, wow, that's really great, Dennis. How can you do that? Can you do that all the time and that kind of stuff? Whenever anybody tells you they've had a 300% gain, always ask, well, what does that mean exactly? So on my individual trade, yeah, it was 300%. But in reality, for my overall portfolio, it made a difference of maybe 1%. So while it sounds really cool, really hot, and oh my gosh, I really want to learn how to do that, just make sure you understand what is being said. And so in that particular trade, and I'll just give you a note on that. Let's bounce back over here to my tracking spreadsheet, and I'll give you an idea on that. Is that particular trade, yeah, the average was 344% in a 3-day period, but it's an option trade. And so if anybody's talking these big percentages, oftentimes it's an option trade that doesn't necessarily, now you can compound with the option trade, but again, in the bigger scheme of things, don't let greed and fear take over and say, hey, I got to learn how to do that. Well, I encourage you, learn how to do it, but recognize that, you're not going to take, $10 and turn it into $5,000 overnight. Doesn't work that way. Anyway, just a little bit of information for you. So what I'm looking at on IWM is a couple of things. One, I like the halfback on here, and that's the Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? God bless, brother. So, yeah, my credit spreads, they basically closed out on their own, because I do my credit spreads where I collect the, if I get up, somewhere between 50 to 6% of the max profit that I can gain for it, I'll go ahead and shut them down. Some folks let them go a little bit longer, but again, great trade, but again, make sure you do your due diligence about what exactly is going on there. So what I'm looking at for tomorrow on the Russell is if I get it back up towards the middle third of today's candlestick, I will want to flip over to my intraday chart. And the reason why is a couple of things happen with the Russell that are very interesting. One, we took out that swing low right there. So now we have a series of what could be considered at least a lower high, a lower low. What's that, though? That's the 50-day moving average. We cut through that, you know, like a hot knife through butter. We'll see how much further it falls from there. But if I want to trade this back to the downside again, I'm going to wait until I get back up into about the $220 level. And this is another one of those where I can throw on not a Fibonacci, but just throw a line right in the middle of that. There we go. And I can roll over and say, what am I seeing on the intraday chart? And sure enough, what I see when I switch over to the intraday chart, folks, is just above that halfway mark is this other little bucket of congestion. So that's up at about $220.50. So that's where I would want to put an alert and say, okay, alert me at somewhere between $220.40. Actually, right there, $220 all the way up to $220.50. And that would give me my clue as to, what's going to happen next. Because right now one of the other big questions to ask is, do I want to trade this back up to the upside? And the answer, my answer to that is no, I do not. Why? Because I just made a new lower low. And so if you've never heard of the adage, you know, don't try to catch falling knives because they'll cut your fingers off. This is one of those situations where I don't want to try to time the bottom. The bottom will tell us when it's ready to be traded to the down, you know, when it's ready to be traded back up to the upside. So that's what I've got on IWM. And so I want to run down here really quick and take another look at a couple of other entities. One is we did roll in a trade on Boeing today. Because why did the market go down? The market went down today, well, because we have a sector rotation going on. The sector rotation is rolling out of or into cyclicals and value stocks. Now, you would think Boeing would be a value stock, but it was whacked today pretty darn good. And but I'm looking at it for if it will move back up above the midsection of today's candle and continue to move up, what I'm counting on is Boeing being a good earnings trade. However, today's increase in volume, market forecast heading down, or TSLA heading down, we'll see how it works out through the rest of this week. That's one. Two, if you are a crypto and blockchain kind of person, keep your eye on and this is Marathon. Right now, Marathon looks like it wants to come on back down here and maybe test at the 50-day moving average. It has tested at the 50-day moving average previously. And so let's see if that is where it basically makes a stand. While it is moving in that direction, though, remember, the moving average is a dynamic level of support. Therefore, what does that mean? It means I can just draw a little parallel line to it, or a line, and that line right there kind of represents where my 50-day moving average might be over the next couple of days. We'll see. And again, this is, I have no signal to trade this to the upside. Matter of fact, it looks like it wants to fall some more. However, I have bullish stacks on my 50, on my 8, my 20, my 34, my 50. And what does that mean? It means that the 8's above the 20, above the 34, above the 50. That's a bullish stack. What else do we want to take a look at? Take a look at Tesla. Tesla is trying to rediscover itself. We have a very interesting pattern going on Tesla. It is not making a move to the upside yet. It is holding up fairly well, but we've got this little, basically, head and shoulders type pattern going on with the shoulder line being across there. So let's see if it will pop up and move higher. We tried to trade on Tesla a couple of weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, and it did not do well for us. But Tesla is going to be one of those companies that is going to continue to lead, because Elon Musk, whether you like him or you don't like him, he figures out a way to make things happen. And so that's what I like about Elon. But he can't pick babies' names for anything though. The other one we'll take a look at real quick is Netflix. Netflix. What did Netflix do for us today? Well, Netflix came in, found support at the 200-day moving average again, and then has bounced back up and found a level of resistance where it is basically selling off from. TSI is strictly heading up, so this makes a higher low, higher high. So we want to be paying attention to Netflix when it gets down around the 50-day moving average, the 20 or the 8-day moving average. As these moving averages are starting to move up, that may give us an entry level to jump on a trade on Netflix. Tesla's an upside if it breaks the downtrend. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, Mike. And again, just watching that and seeing that, that it is putting in that inverse head and shoulders, that could be indicative of, hey, we're going to bounce higher. So, okay, guys, that's what we've got today. I've got time for one stock if you want me to take a look at it. But you got to be fast. You have a stock. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. And that is basically it. And so until tomorrow, we will do it again at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And so until later, aloha and God bless everybody. See you